Hi, Chandra. I'd like to give a little oral feedback on the literature review because there's so much involved in it. I'd like to begin by looking at the format, kind of glance through the APA, and everything looks good. The only thing is this would be black font. Always use black font, and check on how that heading looks in APA 7. It might be straight across. Anyway, you check on that. The format looks good throughout, and that's such an important thing. When you get to the end of your project there, if you're able to have that format not to worry about. Oh, you've got the indentation wrong. It's the opposite of normal indentation. This is all indented, so everything is good there, but that is indented. The DOI number is correct. That's what you use. Oh, if it doesn't have a DOI number, most of them do. If not, then you hook it back to the journal. So it'll be the website back to the small things. It looks like a good format, very clean looking paper. Notice, just look at it. It looks like very professional. That format means a lot. So the idea of the disparities in discipline, and again, talked about this very important topic. You have to be able to implement something to affect this. So keep that in mind. What exactly could you do in your setting to affect that? Take an in-depth look at disparities in education, to look at education of students of color to see if there are disparities. Now, you and I know by our experiences, by the research we look at. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. You and I know there are disparities, but as a researcher, you are going to research to discover that. But again, it's a very important point, very important issue. As soon as you make a statement like this, that's where the research goes. And it's down here a bit, and you don't need to say the authors, just Miller and Tenor right there would be enough. They've just put these new controls up here. I'm kind of playing with them there. Folks in the importance, they spoke about this. So you're giving some good, and that's a possessive case, you're giving good background. You don't say another article. Always use the author's name, or researchers if you don't want to put all their names in there. To simply put it, and again, phrases like this, you can eliminate those because it just takes up a little bit of clutter. Black students being put out of school for misbehaving more than white students. So there's the data to support that. 5 blacks were suspended compared to fewer than 1 in 10 white students. That's 210. It's okay for right now, but you want to get the most recent possible. And again, then these authors, you don't need that. You have a good variety here. Page 258, long history of treating, and again, common knowledge. But the more specific you are, the stronger that's going to be with in-text citations. This is good. A recurring theme that some of in the research based on bias among teachers, implicit bias. Implicit bias. So you begin by discussing exactly what that means, and you're drawing from our readings for this week. That's a good thing. So again, the teacher, how the teacher sees the actions of a student's behavior could affect whether referrals are written. That's something you want to research exactly. Certain beliefs, same consider as school leaders. So you're doing a good job of looking through research to support this. The research in both articles address bias. So there's an example of synthesis right there. You found a common theme, and using that synthesis citation format that I talked about will strengthen that as well. This falls right on the school to pipeline. Now, the school to prison pipeline is an important concept, but is that going to be your focus? If it is, then define exactly what you mean by school to prison, because it's a misunderstood term and used in many different ways. So if you need to get into this, make sure you do the same type of definition of this that you did above with implicit bias. The recurring theme in the articles, and there you go, not to mention it. And again, you can kind of clean that up a bit. The closet breakdown. This type of professional development. One of the articles, again, using the research, researchers talked about, researchers stated, or Gregory Silverman stated, the more specific you are. But you've got a really good foundation here. You show good research skills, and again, just a matter of going through and being specific with the researchers' names, and the articles never discuss, it's always the researcher. These researchers, Fisher and Crawford discussed, a proactive approach, possible interventions, and that's where your project's going to lie. What can you do? Can you improve? Can you implement something to see if it makes a difference? I think you're doing a really good job here. I hope the feedback I've given you on just a little bit of articulateness more clear is helpful, but this is a good foundation to build on.